Yo, what up, man? Kristen by checking back in, man. Back with the blog, man. Back in the van, man. The Van Chronicles. You know what I'm saying? It's a little nighttime blog. I'm in Philly right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in Philly. Shout out to everybody in Jersey. I was just in Newark the other day. And I was in New York the day before that. So I'm just riding around the whole tri-state Philly area, man. Shout out to everybody in Philly. I want to talk about this P and Spanish Harlem situation, man. This young actually was pretty interesting the other day. Everybody getting that P, man. We got the P2 movement moving, going on right now. P this, P that. P ain't doing this. P should have been doing this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I want to speak on it, man. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to speak on it, man. Shout out to Spanish Harlem. He did his interview and everything, and he's very well spoken, man. He's articulate. He gets his point across. He's very believable. And you kind of end up wanting to root for him at the end of the day, man. That's how the feel that he gives. And so I had to go. I actually went back and watched the nigga battles, bro. I went back and watched his 1SK battle. I went back and watched his band battle on URL like over a year ago that dropped on YouTube. And he has his own style. In the 1SK battle, he had on like a little blazer and some slacks, a little suit or whatever. And does it technically fit URL standards? I think one of the interviews he said he felt like P tried to change his look or something. And I mean, honestly, could I see P doing that? Possibly. I could see P suggesting that he switch up his style, change up his look or something like that. That could have been the case with Prep. You know what I'm saying? We don't see Prep as Prep no more. Now he's dirty Prep. He's gun bar Prep. He's acting all, tough in all of these, battles now and everything. That wasn't technically him when he first came out. So could someone had gotten his ear and tried to get him to switch up his style? Very possible, man. Definitely very possible. But this is what I got to say, man. I got to keep it real with you, bro. Everybody that's whining about not being on URL ain't URL material, bro. They just not URL material. And one thing I think that Spanish Harlem is missing about business is that he's looking for business to be fair, and business is never fair. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, P is from the DMV area, man. People like Jack Boy Maine, Drugs, all these people. When Norris was running the PGs, P was, obviously assisting him and helping him or whatever the case may be. I feel like P ushered in a lot of the DMV movement. And I feel like even though Norris may get the credit for putting these niggas on because maybe he was the PG guy at the time, I feel like it was P that was scouting these guys a little bit more and feeling a connection with the DMV and wanting to push them more. So, I mean, if I'm keeping it real with you, if I was in control of URL and I was booking niggas, I gotta ask myself, would I really be trying to put Atlanta niggas on a little bit more than others? Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, I would be trying to put niggas on the South phone and niggas from the A on. You know what I'm saying? I'm ATL all day. So, of course, I would probably have people looking at me like, from New York or whatever, talking about, he's not giving us as much of an opportunity as he is some of the Atlanta people. It's just an inherent biasness, man, that a lot of people have at the end of the day. And so it's in P's best interest that some of these DMV guys do well. It's like it revalidates him as a scout. You know what I'm saying? When Jack Boy Maine was losing very badly to John and Don, I think probably the culture probably wanted to get rid of Jack Boy. He reinvents himself, takes some time off, comes back, battles J400, maybe took a couple other battles, and then he ends up hopping in the tournament, beating T-Top, having a good battle with Cortez, and next thing you know, he just battled Lou Castro, battled Oops, and now niggas is like Jack Boy is back. You could look at Jack Boy as having like possibly, one of the best comebacks in battle rap for this year. You know what I'm saying? That's a revalidation with P for sticking with Jack Boy Maine. Why? Because he's DMV and he's invested in him. He may not stick with another guy from another region or another person. And that's where the biasness comes in, and that's why people start looking at, it's not fair, I'm not getting the same opportunity as some of these other people. And you have to put yourself in your shoes and ask, would you have a similar biasness? And I got to keep it real with you. This door is really fucking with me right now. I would have probably a similar biasness. So I can't necessarily fault P too much for that. I definitely can't. And I feel like Spanish Harlem is looking for too much fairness in business. If we being honest, URL don't owe nobody anything, bro. They really don't. They don't owe Spanish Harlem or anybody else, Gwitty, Benji Lowe, Brooklyn Carter, none of these guys. They don't owe them anything, man. If you don't like what URL is cooking, you can go eat at another league, man. You can go to RBE, you can go to King of the Dot, you can go to Black Ice, you can go to Bullpen. All these other leagues you can go to. They may not be as popular or as big as URL, I will give you that. But at the end of the day, URL is its own separate entity. So I know Benji want to sit, I mean not Benji, but I know Spanish is like, oh, I think smacking them should stop the the card that Gwitty and them is on, and and try to have this fairness going on. But URL ultimately don't owe anybody anything. I mean, now that we pay like $7.99 for the app, they owe us a little bit more than they did before. But back in the day, URL was just booking battles, put them on YouTube for free. Fans would still complain, and at the end of the day, they didn't owe us anything. And I think that's what Spanish Harlem needs to recognize. Has P made some mistakes? Absolutely, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is mistake proof, but I feel like P could have done some things differently if he looks back on it and took accountability for some stuff. He probably can do some things differently. I don't think maybe he handled the shooter situation right. Probably some other situations he could have handled differently. But I will say, I feel like P has a tough job, man. I'm not gonna act like he hasn't done any good things. And I feel like one major mistake P keeps making, he gotta stop doing these motherfucking interviews, bro. He gotta stop doing these interviews because he is looking more and more terrible. This interview right here with Spanish Harlem, he looks the worst, bro. First of all, he tried to say Spanish Harlem was ducking him. But then when he gets on, he has to take a quick bathroom break for his son. He comes back, and instead of addressing Spanish Harlem's issues, he offers him a JC battle. And that's the thing Spanish Harlem was explaining, like, yo, I can't be bought. My soul is not for sale. You can't just dangle a JC battle in front of me and I'm going to take it. I'm not that kind of person. I laid my battle rap career down so that other people to take a stand for other inequalities. So I would have liked to see P and Spanish Harlem have that discussion, and we didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, JC just lost his mom, dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think like throwing JC name in there, even if JC was willing to battle Spanish Harlem, was a good look. P, if you watching this, and I know you probably gonna watch this or whatever, because you be watching a lot of my blogs on the low, whether you want to admit it or not. But dog, you be coming off too arrogant, man. You know what I'm saying? You done a lot of good things for battle rap. You got a lot of innovative ideas, but when you hop in these interviews, you come off as very arrogant. Some of the things you say, like, you can't be on like what did he tell him? He says, I'm the only way you're gonna get on URL, or if I don't book you, you won't be on URL. Like, you don't even hear league owners talk like that, man. I'm talking about league owners that are bosses, like Organic, like ARP, like some of these other people. You don't hear them talk like that because they have a team. So they never act like it's all about me. Like, yo, if I don't like you, you not on URL. If I don't book you, you not on URL. Nobody really talks like that. I don't even know why you would even want the pressure of that responsibility, even if it is true. You know what I'm saying? And last I checked, you're not an owner of URL, bro. So I would never take that stance in an interview if I was you. You know what I'm saying? I would just say, I can help you get on URL. I'm not gonna act like I'm the end all be all. I know my name is not on the LLC. I know I'm not Chico, I'm not Smack, and I'm not Beasley. So even if I have been granted that power, I'm still not going to exercise it in an interview. It comes off too arrogant. And because you don't do any interviews, really, the only time we see you is when you're speaking out about this situation, speaking out about the shooter situation. All of these situations are negative situations. These are the only times we really see you. Have you come up with great ideas? Yeah, Double Impact, Ultimate Madness. I'm pretty sure these are your ideas. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you got a lot of input on who's in what position, certain battles that are booked. You probably put a lot of that together. The Civil War card, you probably put that card together. You know what I'm saying? But we don't see that side of you because we see you doing this in interviews. And then when you come in these interviews, you're not conducting yourself a way that's likable to fans. So unless people get to know you behind the scenes like I have, they don't know another side of you, bruh. So that's one of the mistakes you made. In fairness to P, he is in a tough position, bruh. You're never gonna make everybody happy. For every five, listen to this very closely. For every 5 people that P helps, it's always 2 people that he's not gonna help, or 2 people that's gonna feel like they got fucked over. Though, unfortunately for P, those 2 people are louder than the 5 people that he helped, and that's what you're seeing right now. I'm pretty sure if you talk to Jack Boy, I'm pretty sure if you talk to Franchise, some of these other people, they'll tell you, man, P really looked out. P got me placed. P got me on. But all you hear is the couple negative people. They're the more outspoken ones. They're the more ones getting the spotlight. So I feel like you're never gonna please everybody. And there's a couple things I wish Angry Fan would have pushed the issue with in the interview, because first of all, he asked Spanish Harlem, if you were P, what would you do differently? And I feel like he didn't really answer the question. He said a lot of stuff, but he didn't really say much. He said a lot to say nothing. I guess that's what I'm saying. He says, well, first I would evaluate the talent, and first I would evaluate the my audience, and then I would try to put people in positions that match their audience. Bro, you gotta break that down in a layman term. You gotta break that down a little bit further and say exactly what you would be doing if you was in P's situation, because honestly, there's no way it's gonna be fair across the board for everybody in general. And we all know that if we're being real, some of these decisions are not completely always gonna be the end all be all with P. I don't believe that anyway. Even if he has the majority of the control, he still has people over him. So that's one. Another thing is, you said an analogy, Spanish Harlem, to Angry Fan. You said, what happens if you get booked for a battle, and then they book you for another battle, and then they book you for another battle, and then they decide that they don't want to bring you on board, or they never wanted to bring you on board? You asked, how would you feel? And Angry Fan said he would feel used. He would feel like his time was wasted. He would feel like he could have been looking for other opportunities, but he was wasting his time here. I guess what you're saying is that P was booking you when he never really wanted you to be on URL. Now, let me play devil's advocate with that. First of all, the more and more you're booked, there's an opportunity I may change my thought of you. Like, yeah, at first, maybe somebody I'm close to is saying, yo, that dude Spanish Harlem is dope, but I just can't see it. I don't think he's as nice as people saying he is. But I'm going to keep giving you opportunities, because maybe you'll sway my mind. So if you don't sway my mind, then at the end of the thing, I'm saying, you're not really URL material. But here's the flip side. What if that same person is saying, yo, that nigga Spanish Harlem is dope? I say, all right, I'm going to give him a battle. And I give you one battle. Only one battle. And I say, nah, he don't really got it. He ain't cut for URL. The new narrative is going to be, well, damn, he only gave me one battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you really evaluate me on one battle? You gave me an opponent. You put me in a situation. You gave me one battle. And just because it wasn't my best battle, that means I'm not URL material? You see how if I give you one battle and don't waste your time and just cut you right off the bat, the narrative is, I didn't really give you a fair shot. I didn't really give you an opportunity. I only gave you one battle. How can you evaluate somebody in one battle? If I give you multiple battles and then decide not to use you, I wasted your time. I could have been doing something else. You never wanted me in the first place. You see how you can, in some situations, you can never really win in that situation. And as much as I understand your analogy, if the analogy was the other way around and he didn't waste your time, he gave you one battle and told you that you weren't good enough, the narrative would be, P never gave me a real opportunity, gave me one battle, cut me, and then tried to tell me I wasn't cut out for URL. How can you determine that after one battle? And this is what I tell you when I say everything is not cut and dry. And even though I feel like P is terrible in these interviews, even though I feel like P is really needs to ignore a lot of this IG shit because he just digs himself a deeper hole. But I can just tell, like, in a way, he's not really media trained and he doesn't really handle a lot of backlash well. Like, he has to address too much of it. You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of why I be feeling like niggas don't really be built the way I be built in a way. Like, as much backlash as I get, I kind of ignore a lot of shit and address it every now and then. But it's a lot of shit niggas say about me. I just keep ignoring it. So P has to learn he don't gotta address every single thing. And when you do, it's better to address it one time and be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like you gotta constantly revamp and change this and do that, it doesn't really help your cause. So that's all I want to say, man. What y'all think about this whole interview situation? Shout out to Spanish Harlem. I do like the fact that he did not take the bait for the JC battle. I felt like that kind of made P look really, really bad. And it kind of made me respect him a little bit more. I'm going to keep it real with you. It made him let me know that he can't be bought by a battle. He can't be bought by the money. He can't be bought by the opportunity. And he going to stand on what he says. So it would have been good to see them hash it out. I'm not, playing Captain Saver P. I do feel like there's some things P could have done differently. I do feel like way too arrogant in these interviews, and he's very misunderstood, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, misunderstood. And do he got a little power trip on him? Absolutely. He kind of feeling himself a little too much. At least it's coming off that way. You know what I'm saying? I definitely can see that. But in fairness to him, it ain't easy. It ain't easy being a decision maker for a lot of dudes, bro. It's not easy holding niggas' careers in their hand. And if we being 100% honest, these niggas are not that nice, bro. I don't care what none of these niggas say. These niggas are not that nice. It's a few niggas arguing on these IG interviews that are not URL nice like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say no names right now. I ain't gonna even get into that. A few of these niggas ain't really nice like that. They all right. They all right. They all right. Oh, I ain't seeing no superstars. All right, keep it real. I ain't seeing no superstars, though. I ain't seeing no niggas finna get up there, shock the world and be on some Geechee shit. Finna shock the world and be like, even real sick or easy. I gotta keep it real with you. I don't see that in a lot of these guys. That don't mean they shouldn't get an opportunity. But a lot of these niggas be up there talking like they'll just destroy stuff on that stage, and I don't see that. So everybody is not URL material, and anytime you holding niggas' careers in their hand, they gonna feel some type of way, man. It just is what it is, man. So I do feel like P has a hard job in determining that, man. It's definitely not easy. But remember this: for every 5 people you help, it's 2 that's gonna feel fucked over, and those 2 are louder than the 5 that you help. It's pretty much what's happening with P right now. But y'all let me know when y'all watch these interviews. Let me know what you think. I'll let your boy.